Welcome to Triangle BNI. Today's show is brought to you by Oak City Tech. We talk each week about how loud and crowded the digital world is. So you need professionals like Drago and his team at Oak City Tech to help get you found and found correctly, help get your word out to your current and future clients. If you go to oakcitytech.com, tell them what you're looking for. I know they will be able to help you. Hi, folks. Welcome back to Triangle BNI. Each week here, we bring you a local small business success story. If you are not familiar with BNI, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. Our little slice of here in the Triangle is Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. And each week, about 35 chapters and almost 550 members get together. And our goal is to help each other grow their business. And our small business success story this week is Anu Irri with the Lead Ninjas. Anu, how you doing today?
Well, how are you?
Doing good. Glad to have you on the show. Got a number of things to talk about with you, but I told you that beforehand. So,
Yes, you did.
Anu is with the Lead Ninjas. They do lead generation. They help your phone ring and get found, and we'll get to that in a second. Anu is also part of uh, RD18 Connections in Motion. Meets every Thursday at noon at the Hibernian Pub on Falls and Noose. So if you're ever in that area or live and work that way, want to meet some cool folks that pass a lot of business, please go to the Hibernian Pub on Thursdays at lunch. All right,
Yeah.
Anu, the Lead Ninjas. I like
Yeah.
that name. It's funny, so many companies spend time on names and logos and colors. And sometimes I want to be my superpower. I want to be invisible because I want to go into boardrooms and hear who gave the final say on a dumb company name that makes no sense or nobody can pronounce. And your lead
Mhm.
ninjas just, I like it. It stops people for seconds. So how'd you guys come up with that?
I can't tell you how surprised I was when I saw that that company name was open.
Yes.
It's amazing. I remember my first marketing company, I tried to look up other names, and I started creating ridiculous names. Sporks marketing, bookshelf marketing. They were all taken, and it was incredible. So, the fact that the Lead Ninjas, which is it's just such an organic, it makes sense, it's a nice name. But it was essentially the outcome of having 2 business partners that are male. Um, and so it was the 2 of them bouncing around with, what do we want the company to stand for? What do we want our voice to be? And we kind of settled with the thought that we want to come off confident. We want to come off as the leader. What is a good representation of that? And we knew we did lead generation. So we wanted to incorporate that name. But we were like, let's think of anything that shows confidence, shows power, shows knowledge. And somehow ninjas got into the world. And it acts very well because our parent company is Tortuga Marketing. They are turtles. So together we're the Ninja Turtles.
I
Get excited for Halloween. We're
can't
all gonna dress like Ninja Turtles.
Can't go wrong with that. When my boys
Yeah.
were younger, thankfully we timed it right, so they got to grow up in the Ninja Turtle era, which I'm a
Oh,
huge
nice.
fan of that. I'm glad we missed the Barney era. Glad we got the Ninja Turtles. I like the name
Mhm.
Ninja because you're right, it shows power, dominance, but it also
Yes.
shows, hey, we fight for our clients.
Exactly. Yeah.
Lead generation. We all know posting on social media.
Mhm.
We know words like that, but lead generation means
Yeah.
what?
It's a toughie in terms of comparing it to social media. So I think of social media as a long game of building a community and establishing your knowledge, but lead generation is a more calculated, results oriented form of marketing. So it's building advertisements, it's building ad campaigns with the specific mindset of, I'm going to find clients, find leads, people that want my service, and I'm going to seek those people out specifically. So it's that process of, I'm going to generate leads by specifically targeting them, by reaching them through social media, through Google, through Facebook, through Instagram, through LinkedIn. We at the Lead Ninja specify with Google, Instagram, and Facebook. So
And I
it's
think
a
we've
very specific market.
Yeah, but I think we've all been told from a marketing side, a brand has to connect with you, or we have to see that brand 6 to 7 times before we decide if we want
Mhm.
to do business with them, not if we are going to, but decide, hey, you
Yeah.
know what, I think this might work. And we talk about sales funnels, but on the looking for leads, you just want them to react, an opt in on a website or download this PDF. Or is that what you're
Mhm.
looking for on the original contact with folks?
So it depends on what the company specifically is hoping to do. Some people run leads and do lead generation, not even to find, a client currently. They're just trying to get that brand awareness. My company specifically, when I'm building out an ad for the lead ninjas, if I'm trying to market myself, I'm not necessarily marketing the lead ninjas as a brand. I'm marketing our services. I'm saying, is your phone not ringing every single day? That's what you want. And so my goal there isn't to reach them 6 times, it's to reach them when they're in that mindset of, "Oh, that's exactly what I need. I'm trying to get new business." And then my goal is to get them to reach out to me, and then I can sell them on who I am. I can convince them that they're gonna wanna work with me.
And we talk about messaging all the time
Yeah.
when I'm working with folks. It's like, okay, what solution do you have? Not that you being in business 18 or 38 years, is it nice? An industry leader, nice, but what solution do you have? Because you guys know this, small business owners have a problem. And
Mhm.
is your campaign, does it have the solution at that moment to solve their problem?
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Small businesses, I love them so much because they're the only group I want to help. I love that when you're helping a small business, you're helping your community, you're helping your neighbor. A huge issue I see within them is that they promote themselves because of their experience, and that's great. I want to go to the plumber that's been working for 25 years, over 5 years. However, if I don't know about them because they're not doing marketing, I'm never going to know to reach out to them.
And
So,
that's one of those things that we can have the greatest product in the world, but if nobody knows about it, is it really the greatest product in the world?
exactly. Yeah, it's that nice hidden gem, I guess, but
What
let the
it
world know about it.
Yeah, and what is the tagline you use at the end of our meeting?
Ninjas are quiet, but your phone should not be.
I like that.
Yeah. Thank you. And don't give me credit, actually. Give our sales rep, Will Holloway, credit. He came up with that.
Tomorrow we will. Today
Yeah,
it's
tomorrow
all
you
about
will.
you, yeah.
Today it's all about. I mean,
But
I hired him, so I
it
guess I knew where to
There
go.
you go. So you get credit for that, it's
Yeah.
and going back in many years of management and, business and stuff,
Mhm.
you see 2 types of managers. The one manager who takes credit for everything, whether he or she did it or not. And then the other manager who would, their boss would go, hey, Mike, great job on the new name. And me being a good manager, I would say, no, 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 you need to thank a new and Will. They came up with it. And that manager understands just and exactly
Mhm.
what you just said. I get credit because I hired Will, who came up with that great idea. So, hey,
Yeah.
can I pick him or what?
I knew the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and it's so important to recognize them. So, within the Lead Ninjas and Tortuga, we work with both teams combined, but we were really careful in hiring. Every single person has a pretty different job from each other, and through that, we're able to really respect one another, and we're able to say, "This is the person that knows websites. This is the person that knows SEO. This person's great at advertising. This person's great at social media." And so there's so much respect and love for one another in recognizing their efforts. So we're all very collaborative, but we're all really just a great team together.
With the amount of different campaigns you do, is
Mhm.
there a commonality in what makes people pick up their phone to call the number you've put out there?
I mean, the need. That's why people want to get it. So everyone's going to want a different service. We're currently running a wine campaign. We work with Marble. We work with clients that are in insurance. But we just have to kind of break down that target market, which BNI teaches you about and how to do. It's no longer called BNI University, is it?
It
What's it
still
called?
is. Yep.
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
go to BNI University. There's some great classes you can take that teaches you how to hone in on your target market. Because that's so important for me in terms of how to build an effective ad. We never want to waste your money. Like lead generation is a very expensive topic. It's an investment.
Yeah.
So the best way to be really cost effective is to know that target market and go for them.
Do you find sometimes, or does it depend on the industry, you get them more with a question of, would this make your life easier, or is it an image? What kind of makes people pick up the phone?
Yeah, so it depends on the target, and that's actually why I do a lot of research before I start an ad campaign. Marketing is so different industry to industry. So a lot of the time, the first thing I tell a client is, I'm a leader in advertising. I know my advertising. I don't know your industry of service. You're a business coach. I don't know what's going to work best for you. So I need to do a deep dive into your industry. I need to look at Facebook versus Google and see what's going to be the most successful form of marketing. So sometimes, I think that a business coach is such a specific thing. We're probably going to want to go with a Google route because people are actively searching for that. But I've been known to be wrong. I worked with an animation studio and I thought that Google would be a more accurate thing. Animation's so niche. I end up doing a deep dive. People don't know they want an animation studio. So in that case, I actually do a video. No one knows that they need it until they see a video and they're like, hey, I want to do an animated video for my industry. So that's when you kind of go the opposite way. And that's when you're going to use a video on Facebook.
And we also, another thing Trinity and I talk with folks about is the difference between sales and marketing.
Yes.
And the best example I can give people is a new, relatively new reference and an old school reference. I don't know if you'll know this because you're quite young, but the most recent reference is when Nike did their campaign of their Just Do It campaign.
Hmm.
That's marketing, that's branding, that's imaging, that, whatever word you want to put on that.
Yeah.
But when Dick's Sporting Goods runs an ad said, "Hey, 25% off all Nike running shoes," that's sales. And
Hmm.
the marketing part of it is hard because you have to be consistent. So you know what you're doing on social media, you and the folks you work with know,
Hmm.
but we think as a business owner on Sunday, I'm gonna plan out all my images and where they're gonna go and
Yeah.
when they're gonna go. And man, by about 72 hours later, I'm over that. I'm like, because it's constant, you have to be consistent.
Yeah, you need to be dedicating roughly 15 to 45 minutes
Mhm.
on social media a day because social media and building your brand, doing that marketing, like you were saying, it's not a I post 5 times a week and I'm done.
Yeah.
It's you need to engage in those Facebook groups. You need to comment on, some of your clients' Instagrams. You need to reach out to them, let them know you care. And so I love when people actually do that. And I don't blame business owners for not wanting to do that. You didn't start being a business coach because you like playing around on Facebook. You did it because you want to help people. And that's what I tell so many business owners. I get it if you hate social media, it's fine, but you still need it. And that's kind of why, you outsource. My goal as a business owner is to make enough money that I can outsource every single thing I hate to do in my day. That's how I plan out my life.
That
And
yeah,
I'm not sure if that's the best way, but
that would be
it's
the
gonna lead me to
goal.
happiness.
Yep, and with social media, there's so much more to it than just, "Hey, I put up a post of this T-shirt we have on sale,"
Yeah.
or, "Get 3 rooms cleaned and we'll clean the carpet in your 4th room for free." There's so much more that goes on to that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you're gonna wanna test out your time of the day. That's the fun thing also about social media. There's different times you wanna post. You wanna test out, does a video work better? Does just straight text work better? Does a photo work better? Which medium is working for you? If TikTok or Twitter never worked for you, maybe you shouldn't be investing all that time. But if all of your clients come from Facebook, great. I still think you should diversify platforms, but maybe you should really focus on that Facebook.
And a little, advice from a consumer to the people watching and listening. If
Mhm.
you think a 4-minute video or a 9-paragraph post is gonna go over well, stop.
Yeah.
Attention span is what, 30, 45 seconds at the most. I'll click on, depending on the source, I'll click on, if I know the video is 45 seconds, I'll click on it,
You'll
but
click on 45 minutes
45
or
seconds.
45 seconds? Or
Yeah.
you are a giver for even giving 45 seconds.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
but I'll do that, but don't give me a 30-second commercial before I click on the 45 because I won't make it that far. And
Please.
then the post, I love the post. I know this is a long one, but please read to the end. It's like, no, you just lost me right there.
Yeah. I won't do it if a business says that. I'll do it if I think, like, some Facebook mom is saying it. I'm like, "Oh, what's happening in the neighborhood?"
Yeah,
I think
that's
I'm
true.
suddenly reading about drama.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's a soap opera in your neighborhood, okay,
Yeah,
you got my
exactly.
attention, but I don't need nobody wants to hear 9 paragraphs of my business. So I don't
No,
wanna read 9 of
no.
yours. Give me a bullet point. Give me a reason to call.
Mhm.
Is your day like
Exactly.
this, or have you had trouble doing this, or have you always wanted to do that? Okay.
Mhm.
Now you've like you mentioned earlier, there's a hook in there.
Yeah, that
Eh
call to action is
yeah.
so important. You need to engage your most important things need to be at the top.
Yep.
People don't read at this point, they scan.
Yeah. That's why if you put at the
So,
bottom of an email,
yeah.
if you read this last sentence and call me, I'll give you 20 bucks. I bet somebody be out 60 bucks at the most. Because no, but we just don't read that at the end. Is
No one's
no.
gonna touch it.
No,
Yeah,
they and you know what?
absolutely.
I don't need 9 paragraphs of you telling me what a bad business owner I am, and I don't need 9 paragraphs of you telling me how wonderful a business owner you are. That's
Yeah.
not gonna make me connect. So, that's my
Yeah,
little that's my tidbit from a consumer. So, anyways, we
that's
are here
fair.
with a new Erie of the Lead Ninjas. They are a lead generation machine. They help you get found. Today's show is brought to you by Oak City Tech, one of their competitors, but they do know each other. Emails. We talk about this all the time. Facebook can shut you down within the hour if they so choose. Google can mess with your stuff. Instagram, all the people that own those platforms can mess with your stuff. But if you have an email list and an email campaign, you got total control of that. You can run it when you want. So look for things like that to go to experts like Oak City Tech. Go to oakcitytech.com. I know they'll be able to help you. All right, Anu. One of the things that fascinates me about you is you and I are completely different. Where I'm just a tick older than you. We're from different parts of the world. And I
Mhm,
love different. And you and I, when we did our one to one, that was a couple weeks ago, I think. I
mhm.
loved it because I know what middle class, middle age white guy looks like, sounds like. You are from Indian descent by
Yeah.
way of the Finger Lakes region in New York
Mhm.
State, which is a
Yeah.
very interesting combination.
Thank you.
Um, I was fascinated by um, your we talked about what it's like to live in India and
Mhm.
everything that comes with the culture, and just
Yeah.
fascinated by that. When you first moved over, how old were you when you moved to the States?
So, I was actually born in the States.
Oh, that's
However,
right.
my
Never mind.
my brother was born in India.
That okay.
My sister was born in Ireland, where my parents met and got married, and then they came to the States and had me.
And
So, I was this atrocious kid. I would actually walk around New York City. So, they first moved to New York City. So, my parents were looking at houses in the Finger Lakes when I was born, but, I was raised for, first 3 years in New York City, and we go back there constantly. But I would take my family around, and I was this disgusting child that would be like, "Come on, immigrants, follow me." Don't do that.
what were some of the things your folks noticed when they moved over to the States that were some of the just blinding differences between living in India versus living in the States?
Oh my gosh, so much. It's such a culture difference. I think they had a better an easier transition than a lot of immigrants because they first went to London and then they went to Ireland. So you'll notice for quite a few Indian doctors, they have that same transition. You have to add something to the country to get here. And it's harder to get from India to America, but it's easier to get from India to UK and then to America. So that's kind of how they transitioned. So it was easier. I remember the differences they were really aware of was Europe to India or in America, which was things are open really late here. That was the first thing. They were like, "Wow," because in Ireland and in London, they everything's closed at like 5, so you can't do grocery shopping after work. That's not a thing.
Wow.
And I lived in Ireland as well, and I remember that transition of like I just got off of work and there's no food. Cool, I'll starve.
Oh
It's
my god.
fine. Yeah.
And Amnon, who's a producer of the show, is from Israel. So Amnon,
Oh,
did you how late
amazing.
did things stay open in
Well,
Israel?
it's 5 o'clock.
Really?
Yep,
Yeah. Everything
that's
early.
it. And everything closes from, I think, 1 till 3 or something like that. where, I mean,
Mhm.
people live, they don't just work.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, the word siesta in the States does not exist,
No.
does it?
No. I mean, if it makes you feel better, it doesn't really exist in India either. That was the one thing, was that work ethic. It was a little different. People in America have this different concept. Education is certainly valued here, but
Mhm.
it's not valued in America the same way it's valued in Asia in general. So it's very much the immigrant idea is, you know, work hard, get a good job, go to school, get a good job, live a good life. Whereas in America, there's a very new money, green glass, built it myself type of idea of you can come here with nothing and you can just work your way up. Education is so incredibly important.
In your
So
f
when we came, yeah,
in your
go for it.
family, it was just assumed, there was no discussion that you were going to college,
Oh yeah.
right? Now, was
Oh
there
yeah.
discussion of what level of college you were going to complete?
Yeah. Oh yeah. My dad, I own a business and my dad still asks me if I'm getting my MBA. So I don't, there's a bank account somewhere with my name on it for MBA question mark. Absolutely. Yeah, in India actually, because another thing is education gives you autonomy. Education is the key for, a female to be able to take care of themselves. So my mother in India, every one of her siblings has a master's because her father had the sense of, oh, if my daughter isn't educated and she gets married and something goes wrong, she will be on her own. She will be subjected to, living under her husband. She's not going to have anything. So every one of my aunts and uncles has minimum masters.
And what education level did her dad have?
Her dad was a lawyer, so
Okay.
yeah, I was really lucky. I came up from an incredible family. I never met him. My grandfather was a lawyer and a politician, and then my grandmother was a psychology professor. So in terms of Indians, very, very progressive. My grandmother actually found her husband by putting an ad in the newspaper. So not normal. She said, I need somebody to marry me. Like, people aren't as smart.
Wow.
And that's how
Wow.
she promoted herself. So when you think about the time when this happened, not normal, incredible woman.
I was gonna
So
say, how many responses did she get? Do you know?
probably not many. She's not an easy woman to get along with, but she knows her worth. She essentially told every suitor, I need somebody that can keep up with me. So
I like that.
yeah,
I
you could
like
do
that
that.
a
And think
lot.
think about it, this is the 40s, 50s that this is happening.
Oh,
Amazing.
men today have trouble dealing with women. Lord, I can't
Exactly.
imagine how bad it was back then, how many guys are like, "I don't
Oh
need
yeah.
this."
I don't even know how somebody could do that today in India. So seeing her, she is a spitfire.
Nice. And then
Yeah.
the other thing that I knew this, and this is all over Europe, which just doesn't happen hardly at all in the States, is multi-generations in a household.
Hmm.
When
Yeah.
you How far back do you remember in New York, who was living with you guys?
So at one point, both my grandmothers lived with us. My grandfather has also lived with us. So the sad thing is, I'm the only family, I guess, in America. My parents don't have siblings that live in America. However, both times when I was born, when my sister was born, we had family come over and stay with us for months. And so my grandmother kind of raised me. My other grandmother raised my sister to a degree. They stayed with us and they took care of us while my mom went out and worked,
And
because that three generation is normal. So in India, my grandmother also lives with my cousins. They have that three generational household.
and
And you and I have talked about this. It's weird to me that in America, parents go to nursing homes. That's
yeah.
so foreign. It's not even a question. I'm taking care of my parents, and my partner's American, but it's weird taking care of my parents.
Now, when there are 3 generations in the house, does everybody have a role?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you do.
What
There's
d
so much respect and just respect that's given towards your grandparents. Your grandparents are another parent completely.
and what was their role in the house?
For me, so I wasn't as lucky. When they lived with me, I was older and they weren't necessarily given the same role, but they were still a caregiver. They were this piece of wisdom for us to learn from. My parents did the more day to day, like cooking, cleaning, drive us to practice type of thing. But that grandparent was there to teach you life lessons and teach you education, and just hone your skills, teach you how to be an adult, be a better person, learning your culture.
Well,
So,
and I know that with Oliver, of course, anytime I can
yeah,
bring Oliver into the conversation, I do. By the way, I talked
he's
to
the
my son this
sweetest
morning.
boy.
Oliver's with his cousin, and Oliver and his cousin are just being butt heads.
Oh, no.
His cousin is about 9 months older than him, and she has learned quickly what lights his fire and gets
Oh,
him into trouble.
really?
Oh, she can get him in, she can say one thing to him that'll just light him up, and here comes the
Nice.
trouble. So, and I always tell my son and daughter-in-law, I bring great wisdom to the house. A, I'll babysit for you.
Mhm.
But with this wisdom comes, can you bring me a piece of cake for breakfast and fix me a drink and stuff like that? But I do
Oh,
make
yeah.
sure all the time when Oliver and I are walking through the house, whether he's on a car, I'm carrying him when we're playing around. Anytime we
Mhm.
walk by his mother, we stop. Oliver, if you kiss anybody today, you better kiss your mother and say, thank you, mommy.
You know what? That's another thing that's weird. We don't say "I love you" in India. That's not normal.
Really?
People are very affectionate. I did not see my parents kiss until I was 17 years old.
Wow.
Showing affection is not normal. In fact, there's an Indian comedian, I only ever see her on TikTok, but she, like, makes a joke about how the only way she would know her husband was cheating is if he looked at her and said, "I love you," because that's not a normal thing. He must have learned that from some other woman. It's just assumed. Most of my cousins have never said "I love you" to each other. It's weird.
Do you
So,
find yourself saying that now that you've
oh, I
lived
say
over
it
here?
so much.
Okay.
Yeah, my mother actually she enjoys it. So she says that she wishes that kids heard it more in India. However, she grew up never saying "I love you." I remember asking my grandmother at maybe 6, 7 years old. I said, "Mama, how do you say I love you?" And she looked at me, frown on her face, and goes, "We don't say that here," as if I was the weird one. But yeah, it's just assumed. They do it through their actions, not through their words.
And I would have, I'm with you. I would have taken my parents in, and I told my wife, her folks are still living. So
Mhm.
I'd take them in as well.
Yeah,
But I love them. I enjoy their company and I have a blast, hanging with them.
yeah,
I think with us, it may scare us at some point in time the medical attention they might need,
yeah.
which is why some folks go into an assisted living community,
Mhm.
and that's
Absolutely.
scary.
Yeah. Completely. And I think that my choice of profession has a lot to do with that same fear. I want to make sure I'm able to travel and be with my parents if I need to. So currently they're 10 hours away. Both my parents are doctors in New York. They can't come here. They have to sign an agreement every single day saying that they have not left the state. So if something happens, I need to be able to be with them. So a
And
lot of the time, me going into marketing, it gives me that allowance. I can travel and I can still be with them.
yeah, you finally got up there. Was it a month within the last
Yeah,
6
it
weeks?
was it was in June. I got to see my entire family. My brother and his wife flew in from California. My sister's doing residency in Mount Sinai, very prestigious. She's officially the favorite. That was my dad's dream residency. So the second she got in, praise, he's so glad. But yeah,
Now,
we all got in. We got to see each other.
do Indian mothers ask their Indian daughters when they're gonna get married and give me a grandchild?
My poor sister. I feel so bad. Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting married anytime soon, but I've kind of known who I was going to marry the last 5 years. I have that in my mind. I'm pretty sure we're gonna end up together. And my sister doesn't have somebody. And they talk about it at least once a day. Yeah. Which is it's ironic because my parents didn't get married to each other until they were 35. My sister's 29. She has time.
Yeah, yeah, and these
Yeah,
days, 35 is way different than it was 30 years ago. Yeah.
exactly.
I think
Yeah.
we're living longer and people are realizing, "You know what? I'm gonna take my 20s, do a lot of things, travel, learn, do
I mean, have you
whatever."
seen the steps it takes to become a doctor?
No.
I asked her when her cortisol is going to go down because as far as I can see, she's not okay. She is so stressed. She works 7 days a week, minimum 12-hour shifts. And she looked at me and said, probably in like 4 years.
Mhm.
She's 29 right now.
Yep.
She doesn't have time to meet somebody. Let her build an empire. And so if somebody wants to join her, that's great.
We are here with a new Erie. She is with the Lead Ninjas. They do lead generation, help your company's phone start ringing. Today's show is brought to you by Oak City Tech, another player in that world, folks. And there's a lot of professionals out there. You need good folks. Again, messaging, just what am I saying to people? I always ask my clients 3 things. Who's your ideal client? Where do you find them? Once you find them, what are you gonna say to them? And you gotta have that plan ready. So look to folks like Oak City Tech to help you in the digital world get that message out. Go to oakcitytech.com. Tell them what you're looking for. I know they'll be able to help you. All right, Anu, the other thing that I find interesting about you, and I've got a list of 19 things, but I really can't get to all of them right now.
Can you share them with me after?
I'll
I
send
love
I'll
that.
send them.
That's so
Yep, I'll
nice of
send them
you.
to your partner and say, "Hey, look,
Oh,
dude, come on, put a ring on it." So,
the narcissist in me.
um,
Oh, please, I would say no.
I know
We
you
could get
would.
down on one knee right now. No,
Get up,
thank you.
get up, get up, get up. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is you are a theater person.
Yes,
You
I
have been
am
in it. You love it.
so much.
What was the best thing about being in the theater world?
I'm so glad you asked that question. The best thing is that sense of community. A lot of people that are immigrants, specifically when your family doesn't come here. So none of my cousins are here. America's the only place in the world where you can make your family your friends. You can choose your family, and I think that's really unique. But theater gave me that sense of community, gave me that sense of home. They care about you so much. It's such a collaborative field that you just become a family. You spend hours upon hours in Hell Week with these people. And I remember when I'd been in it since I was a child, but I think I was 15 and I had something happen to me medically. And it was Hell Week. So Hell Week is, 12-hour rehearsals, going late until 10 o'clock at night. And I missed rehearsal. I was terrified. You do not do that. I've told you this. If you're on time, you're late. Imagine what happens when you're late. Um, so I was late and I came into the theater and my entire department was sitting around in a circle praying for me. And in that moment, I just felt so much love and support because I didn't think I could get that when you don't have family here. So I love that. It gave me that sense of family.
And in full disclosure, to back up what Anu just told you, is I usually tell people to zoom in about 10 minutes before we start the show. And Anu was 14 and a half minutes in. So, yeah, she was
Yeah.
4.5 minutes early. And she goes, "Hey, Mike, told you this before. You're on time, you're late." What
Yeah.
was,
Theater kid rules.
did you, was there theater in your family or did you stumble upon it for the first time for the family?
I did have my grandfather, the one that was a lawyer and politician, he was apparently an excellent actor. So it was always told to me that we had some performance skills in the family. Yeah.
And they're coming out in you, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Now, what was the first role you remember having?
Oh my gosh. Nativity scene?
Okay.
Yeah.
Were
Yeah,
you
nativity scene at, I was a shepherd, I think.
okay. All right.
Yeah, I did a nativity every single year as part of the Kerala Malayali Association, which is funny because 'cause I'm Hindu. Um, but I still joined in every year, and it was so much fun. Yeah.
Will you be um, renewing your theater career here in the Triangle anytime soon?
I want to, if not from a performance standpoint. So part of I was a performer for years. My body kind of eventually told me no. So that's why I shifted into business. I did theater and marketing for the performing arts. So that's how I found my love of marketing. So if I can't do it from a performance standpoint, I would still like to market for an arts company, or perhaps I could fundraise for an arts company.
All right. So if anybody's listening, hey, you got a live one on the internet
Yeah,
here. She's
I'll find my way to you. I
she
also love music, so orchestras,
Yep.
choirs. My heart is with you. I did all of it.
You told a good story when last time we met about the after party and how
Oh
you
no.
convinced people that they did it again, to quote the Blues Brothers, "You don't have to go home, but you can't
Oh,
stay here." So,
yes.
how did you convince everybody it was time for them to leave?
Yeah, you stand up on a chair and you say, "Hey guys, sorry, but I'm not saying you gotta leave, but you can't stay here." And it became this thing where you gotta leave, but you can't stay here. I loved it. Best thing that's ever been put into effect.
And you went to Ithaca College, and for
Yes.
those of you are not familiar with New York State, the Finger Lakes are the northern part of the state. If you're a NASCAR fan, Watkins Glen is up there, and I've been up there a couple times in the summer. It is beautiful up there. If you ever want a
Oh
nice
yeah.
quiet, uh, beautiful place to go. It doesn't get that
Mhm.
hot up there either, but it is
Yep.
gorgeous up there. Now, I saw it when it was green. care I have 0 interest in seeing it when it's white because
No.
it can get cold up there, right, Anu?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we live in a snow globe, and
Mm.
it's funny because I talk about going back all the time. My dog really hates the heat, even though she's a Carolina girl. She pretends that she has to that she's gone potty just so
Yeah.
she can run inside, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen from a dog, but I took her up to the north in the winter, and I was terrified. Oh, man, she was born in Charlotte, what's she gonna do? She loved it. She
Mm.
was thriving, building tunnels in that snow. So it was great. Yeah, I love Ithaca though. Did you go in the summer or did you go in the fall? Because
The
fall
races
in New
were in
York.
August.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So you went at the hottest time though, and you didn't think it was hot?
No, oh god, no. From here, no.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, that's true. Oh
I've
yeah.
yeah, I've lived in Houston before, had nothing like Houston hot. So yeah, the Finger Lakes is
Yeah.
beautiful up there. Now,
Yeah.
as an Ithaca alum,
Yeah.
I always like to Google colleges to find out who their outstanding alumnus are, and
Hmm.
I hope that this show will vault you into that category.
Oh, me
Let me
too.
run
The
by
theater department's kind of
Yep,
giving me some credit.
let
So
me run by a couple names, see if you're familiar with any of these. Does the name Bob Iger ring a bell?
I've spoken to Bob Iger. Yes, it
He
does.
he ran Disney for all of you who don't know who he is, that's how big a deal
Hmm.
he is. And
Great guy.
how did you get to speak with him?
I was in the business and media school, so the communication school. He's still very active, so he'll
There.
call into classes and still mentor us.
See, and that's what you want from alums is to keep
Yeah,
giving back because the smart folks that give back, they know one day in their life somebody helped them. And
yeah,
I commend everybody that gives something back to where they came from because somebody helped you. You may be too arrogant to acknowledge that, but odds are real
mhm,
good somebody helped you. So I like when alums go back and give back and help, whether they're famous or not,
yeah.
just to give
He
back.
is fabulous. Yeah,
Good.
actually, and I guess this is a promo for my own school. We have an incredibly talented communication school. And we have a really successful ICLA program where a lot of the communication students go to LA and they intern at top studios. And at this point, I'm only 23. I have friends working at Marvel, they work for NBC, and it's all from spending one semester abroad in LA just because our alums are so well
Yep.
connected.
Very nice. Do you know who Ricky Lake is?
The singer, actor, right?
Talk show host.
Talk show. Okay.
Yeah.
Ricky Lake went to IC.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Back in the
Didn't
day,
know.
she had her, crap. Who was the 15 Minutes of Fame? Who was the painter? Um, Andy Warhol always used to
Oh,
say, "Oh, your 15 Minutes of Fame." She did. She had her. She made some good money when she was on the air. Do you know? Here's one for you. Do you know who Gavin McLeod is?
I thought you were gonna say Gavin DeGraw,
No,
McLeod.
he went there too, but I don't care about him. So yeah. Gavin McLeod. Do you remember the show way back in the 70s, The Love Boat?
You think I remember that? I didn't even have a TV half the time. I was
Don't know if
raised by
you saw it
immigrants.
on Nick at Night or something, but
No.
he was Captain Steubing
Oh,
in The Love
nice.
Boat. He was in the Mary Tyler Moore Show as well. He was Murray, so big fan. Here's my favorite of the alums that went to Ithaca College, Gorilla
What is it?
Monsoon.
That's your
He's
favorite?
a wrestler. Yes, he's my favorite of all the people that went there.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen the theater alums? I mean, I was in the theater and business department, so I thought you'd be
Nah,
like, Aaron Tveit went there. He's
I
incredible.
know who he is, but nobody else. Saw him on a Hallmark movie one night.
Oh, I'm so sad that he switched to Hallmark.
I,
I'm hoping he comes back to theater. It's
I
okay.
recognized the name. It's like, okay, I know
Yeah.
who that guy is. Yeah, he played I think a British prince.
Oh, really?
I
I
think
okay, I love Hallmark solely for the fact that I have the opportunity to see the same 5 storylines
yeah. Oh yeah.
replicated. I
It,
love it.
it's repeatable. It's a meet cute in the beginning, then they
Mhm.
develop it, and with 17 minutes left, there's a misunderstanding, and with 4 minutes left, they come back around, everybody kisses,
Yeah.
gets married.
Yeah,
It
I definitely saw 3 of those over the weekend just for fun.
But again, let's put that into business
Mhm.
perspective. You want a repeatable process in your business, right?
Yes.
Every time we
Yeah,
put
your
this
follow-up process, have
yeah,
those systems in place. Mike Manning can help you.
every time we put this campaign out, and people call this phone number, what's our repeatable process? We do this
Exactly.
with it, what they call.
Mhm.
But yeah, Gorilla
So, yeah.
Monsoon, yeah, he was one of the bad boys, and he went on to be an announcer, but yeah, had to go there.
Yep.
One of the things I like about, speaking of family, is the
Mhm.
family in the family of businesses in Tortuga Marketing and Lead Ninjas. How'd you get hooked
Mhm.
up with, Louis and Adriana and them?
Yeah, so, it actually started with my first marketing company, Assura Marketing. I made that with an old coworker of mine. He went to high school with Louis. So the two of them were kind of family friends, knew each other in the past, and Louis started by just being this referral partner or giving us advice, and he just became this incredible big brother in terms of teaching me, what it's like. I shifted from the performing arts, and most performing arts companies are nonprofits. So you go in there for the love of the process. You do it because you love it and you expect to not get anything in return. And the fun thing about owning a business is that there's a chance you'll get paid. And
Yes.
so me building up this company involved me not paying myself a lot of the time. And Lewis would be like,
Yeah.
you shouldn't do that. You're allowed to like get food at the end of the night. Keep
Now,
doing that.
as co-founder and CEO of the Lead Ninjas, I
Mhm.
hope there's something coming your way.
Yeah. It's gotten a lot better.
Okay.
He's a good mentor in terms of being like, you have full access to the bank account, right? You should be paying yourself. So
And I've seen his whirlwind tour of the East Coast of the United States on Facebook. It's hilarious.
oh my
I'm
gosh.
glad you
No,
pointed that
actually,
out to me, yeah.
do you know how it ended?
Mm,
Okay, so it was supposed to be a huge whirlwind, right? He's never been on an airplane. He was supposed to go fly up to New York City, hit up Boston, Vermont, Colorado, Miami, and then come back. He went to New York, enjoyed it, and then immediately came back and said, I think I'd prefer living in the mountains with my dog. So he was supposed to do more than that, but he realized he just really likes being out in the middle of nowhere with good old pickles.
but wouldn't that make sense to have taken the leg to Colorado and then come home?
Right? He said he's planning to do all of these trips. He's gonna kind of come back in between. He
Okay.
misses his dog too much, which is sweet. I'll give it to him.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
didn't say me, but that's okay.
Okay. One last question for you. What is the Arts Canteen?
Oh, the Arts Canteen. It's an incredible arts company that I work for in London. So this company focuses on bringing Arab artists into the Western world and giving them a chance to perform. A lot of
Mm.
the time, Arab artists struggle to get visas because of political issues going on. So I was an intern for them when I was maybe 20, and I worked kind of with the Arts Council, which is the equivalent of the NEA. It's with the government, and I'd work with the government to give those Arab artists a chance and get them those visas. And I would do all the promotions for them, all their social media. And they were an incredible company to work with.
And London was a fun place to be at your age?
London was an incredible place to be. That being said, I loved my time in Ireland the most. I lived in Ireland working in Galway for another arts company, and I love Galway with all of my heart.
Dang,
So
look at all this
I'll
stuff
move there.
you've done and you're only 23. Very
Yeah,
impressive.
BNI people schedule a one-on-one with me, and I can tell you all the good places
That
to go.
again, that's what I love about BNI. I try to promote it every week. Look at the type of people you're gonna meet in BNI. So Anu with the Lead Ninjas, appreciate you being on today. Good luck
Thank
with your
you.
campaign to have campaigns to get the right message out so
Oh yeah.
your
Mhm.
clients and future clients' phones will keep ringing.
Yes. Thank you so much.
And we'll see everybody next time on Triangle BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.